The other day, some new commanders that joined our Discord community, link in the description by the way, were asking how to properly or what were the sources to increase your combat power. And so we were talking about those things and I forgot half of them. So I wanted to make a video with all the possible sources to increase your combat power for new players so they don't make the same mistakes that we veterans tend to forget on how things work sometimes. Also, important to note, my 2 gems ready for anniversary. We are ready for anniversary now. Enough yapping for the introduction. Hello the internet, welcome back to the Waifus. I'm Sefhi, your favorite gambling addict, and today we're gonna be talking, of course, about how to increase your combat power and what are the possible sources for this. So before we start, if you like, subscribe, and let's just jump directly with, for example, a good waifu made privacy. Why not love this girl? So let's talk a little bit about all the possible sources. I think I noted all of them down, so you'll be seeing me looking to the left. If I missed any, please let me know in the comments and I will pin those comments and like them so people can also understand those different ways. So all that said, let's get started with the most obvious one, your level. For the new players, you will not be level 200 yet, but when you get to level 200, you will unlock your Synchro device. This is known for everyone else, but every time you level up your Synchro device, every character that's on that Synchro device will level up and you will increase your combat power. So for all the girls in here, every time we level up, this means we are getting increased combat power. That's the most basic one. Now, after the level, which is the most basic way of increasing your combat power, we can talk about dupes. Dupes is something that for new players, I will say don't worry too much because a 4% is good, and after the 160 wall, there is not really a necessity to get the extra dupes. Now, these extra copies of the characters will increase your combat power by around 2%, if I remember correctly. Each dupe, 2% increased combat power, which is nice, but once again, for free-to-plays, not really needed. Now, it's important to note when it comes to dupes, your maximum level on your account is going to be based on how many characters you have with 3 stars. So to a certain degree, dupes are important, but still, for free-to-plays, I will say there is plenty of characters you will MLB over time that will increase the cap of your account anyway, so don't worry too much. So after the levels and the dupes, we can talk about the attraction level. The commander advising every single character in the game. So your ranking here on the advice system will also increase your combat power. As you can see, if I were to go to rank 30 right now with my main privacy, I would be getting a lot more of stats. So attack, HP, and defense. These also influences your combat power. Now, the maximum level you can get is 30 for normal characters and 40 for pilgrims. Pilgrims, you will be able to actually go 10 levels above that. You will still need MLB to get to maximum rank, but it's a good way of increasing your CP as well. After those basic ones, there is a couple more that we need to go through. The gear, we'll talk about in a second because that's like the most complicated one. Your skill levels, of course, will also increase your combat power. And if you have equipped a cube or not, it will also, as you can see, change your combat power. So if we remove this right now, she goes to 159, and if we equip the resilience, which is my highest level right now, she will go to 166. The cubes are really important to get more CP padding, so you are not always on the red when creating content, and you can get closer to that target. Now, let's move into the gear. The gear is the more complicated one, because gear does give you increased combat power. Normal gear, not overloaded, when you level it up, will give you increased stats. The thing is, when you overload your gear, there is going to be specific lines that give you more combat power than others. So for example, this line right here with elemental damage will give my privacy more combat power than the attack or the charge damage. As far as I remember, and I could be wrong on this, elemental advantage or increased elemental damage will give you more combat power than everything else, and the other ones are more or less balanced. So that's the one you are always looking for. That's the importance shift up is giving the characters and the way they're moving into the future, so we can focus on that, on those elemental teams rather than just building the same unit for everything, even though shift up for most elements forgets that we are still using Black Shadow to basically destroy absolutely everything, which is always funny. So after those things, right, let's go back into Look Mommy, for example. So after your gear, skill, cubes, your dupes, everything else, what else can you do to increase your combat power? There is a couple more things. First of all, the collection. This is important because for new players, you should be focusing on your main DPSs to actually equip those on them. if you want a good video on the dolls, I would recommend go watching Sky's video. He explains the priority, how to level them up, and how not to waste resources. God bless Sky and count those resources. Now, enough glazing. After that, there is one last system that will also increase your combat power, and that is on your outpost when it comes to the console levels. So if we come here and you go into your recycling room, you will be increasing your combat power for specific manufacturers and specific classes, also on the general research for all your units. So this is important. Every time there is a new event, you should be buying those consoles so you can increase your level here because it's more combat power. Now, all that said, those are all of the main things, all of the main ways to actually increase your combat power in NIKKE, which for new players, hopefully it's useful. For all of you veterans that watch my channel, this was more of a refresher or just a chat with Sefhi for 5-6 minutes straight while I'm yapping. So all in all, there is plenty of ways of leveling up your characters. For new players, you should be focusing, like I was saying earlier, on your main DPSs first, and then you can go into the other girls you like, be it supports or your main team or specific meta characters for raids so you can have more teams built. Now, that's gonna be it for this video, just a shorter one to talk a little bit about this. I'm gonna go push a little bit of tower, I think, before the stream starts, because I need gems. So, thank you for coming, beautiful people. Love you all, and I will see you in the next one.
役立たずは楽園から追放するのみ。ブランとノワールのショータイムです。天地万物を切るとはこういうことです。